Hey guys, my name's Bill Kerr, and I've just been asked to share tonight by a few of my friends and a few of the people that we mentor with, just to share some ideas and thoughts over my journey in building our businesses and success. And it's been an honor to not only share with people over the years, but to coach and mentor people. Probably one of the biggest thrills there are in life is to help people. But one of the other difficult things is to try to help people that don't want to get help. And so appropriately, I hope you receive this as me just sharing. Now I'm in my 60th year. I'll be 60 years old here in a few months. And so what I share with you tonight is my experiences. And I've always been taught that a man with experience is never at the mercy of somebody with a theory. And really, it's it's interesting because it's kind of a split in the half. The first 30 years of my life, I was not focused. I didn't have a mentor. I got taught a great work ethic from a farm construction background. But it was my 30th year where, through I guess a bunch of frustration and having a young family, we had 3 children at the time, expecting our 4th or 3rd. I just finished a year and a half at a 6 children's hospital here where we live in Toronto, and we were just frustrated as a young couple. And I think one of the things that I want to try to emphasize as I share with you tonight is that things can change, and you're capable of making that change happen. I was introduced here a little while ago to this limitless model, this idea, this concept of being limitless, and really the focus of the concept is the power of the human brain. And the author of the book I was reading, has transformed his life, where from an accident in kindergarten caused him to be really a behind student, unable to learn, to now being, having PhDs and doctorates and writing books and being a renowned expert on the brain. He coaches athletes, he coaches movie stars. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. And Jim Quick's his name, actually. And, and I liken this model to something that I've used over the years in analyzing how to go from good to great, a book that Jim Collins wrote. And in that book, he has 9 concepts of how companies went from good companies to great companies. And, one of them was to obviously leadership, the 5 levels of leadership. Another one that was very vital was getting the right people on the bus, making sure you have the right people around you. And the third was a concept called the hedgehog concept, where, like this model of limitless, when you get these 3 things moving together, then you can hit that sweet spot where things magically begin to happen. And so I've jotted down some notes tonight. I hope you don't mind. I'm not a wordsmith. I'm just going to share from my heart, from my experiences, really about, life, and about how your mindset is so critical, and the possibility thinking that can come from, I'm not proud of this. I was not a book person. I probably didn't even finish a book in school. And if you got enough skill set, you can copy some notes and get some notes and get some, Cole's notes, whatever. And I'm not proud of that in any, way, shape, or form. But in my 30th year, I became a bookaholic. And I'm not sure the cases and bookcases we have of books and the boxes of books, probably, in the thousands, where I've probably done a book minimum once, one a month, maybe a couple of months for now 30 years. And so in that has developed within me this possibility thinking, and, really transforming where, somehow, I think a lot of us have this fixed mindset where, we call it the BCDs, where you blame, you complain, and you defend your actions that you are where you are because of these 3 things. You blame others, you complain about others and others in situations that seemingly out of your control, and then you defend the decisions you make, and that kind of leads you in this fixed mindset. And so really one of the key elements of being limitless and having success is having a growth mindset. And growth mindset is really, learning more, being better, being determined to be a better person, and, having a work ethic. You can't have a Ferrari dream with a Ford work ethic. And so many people have this 9 to 5, 40-hour week mentality that it's not their fault. I mean, it's been drilled into them, probably since kindergarten, get a good education, get a good job, and everything will be fine. Well, I think the world's finding out we're not fine. And what happened was, my background was, you get up at sunrise, you go to bed at sunset. and you could do it all over again, really 7 days a week in the summer and dial it back a little bit in the dead heat of winter. But it was a work ethic of you don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today, because tomorrow will pile up. And so work ethic, perseverance, is another growth mindset where, you have to learn to persevere. What's it that Steve Jobs, it's Bill Gates says, you have a tendency to overestimate how things can happen or what can happen in the next 2 to 5 years, but you underestimate what can happen in the next 5 to 10 years. And so you need to persevere. You need to have, what we call holding power and stick-to-itiveness and that no quit attitude. And I know that, that's another probably lesson in itself about just developing that. I know there was many books now being written about just having that, no quit attitude. And that's the key element of success, is that when the going gets tough, you get going. And challenges, realizing that challenges are opportunities, either opportunities to learn, opportunities, we're going through times of challenge right now, and it could be opportunities of business and opportunity, new things will emerge. And, you look at the internet and what we're doing now with, recordings and videos and Zoom calls and webinars. I mean, it's transforming how business is done. And so what I needed to do is I needed to embrace a growth mindset. And I guess I'm challenging you here tonight, if you're listening to this, to really embrace that. Embrace I think you ask the average person. The average person says, I need to change. I'd like to have more. I'd like to do more. I'd like to travel more. Right? Everybody's going to say yes, yes, yes to all of that. And so it's not just needing to change, it's owning it. It's owning the aspect of it. And I'll share maybe a couple of things that I learned to do, but really nothing changes if nothing changes. The height of insanity, Albert Einstein said, the height of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. He talked about, you can't solve the significant problems you face in life with the same level of thinking you have when you created them. You change your thoughts. You need to grow your mindset. And I think there's two things that happen when people actually grow and change. One is awareness they need to change. Okay, that's number one. You have to have an awareness. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't aware that they need to change. They think miraculously some lightning bolt's going to come down and change their circumstances, going to give them a 100% increase in their income. It's going to change the house they live in. It's going to change the car they drive. It's going to change their relationships. But unfortunately, that's not the reality. And really, we create our own reality. And so what I had to do, what Jan and I did, is we created a reality that was truth. We were spinning our wheels. We were on a hamster wheel. We were on the rat race. We were going paycheck to paycheck and, ending up every year and starting the next year back at zero. It was terrible. And I realized over the years that there's really three types of people when you start talking about this. Number one is that they have no idea they need to change. And, that's where I get, you can't make people have a growth mindset. You can't make people realize that they need to have, multiple streams of income and better preparedness and all that. You can't make people do that. Some people just have no idea and want to have no idea. Then there's people that I know I want to change, or I know I need to change, but there's no action, right? There's no action to change. It's just verbal, right? They complain about work. Oh, I need this and I need that. You know this stuff. It's the people you're around. Some of them are family members. They complain and, they know they need to change, but there's no action. And then the third type of people are the people that actually have an awareness that they need to change, and they put in the activity to change. And so that's really a growth mindset. There's a Western Stars is Bruce Springsteen's latest album. I went to see actually at TIFF in Toronto when he was there, that opening. It's now turned into a movie. And the Western Stars song, he opens with a lyric that says, you can run away a lot for a little while. I'll repeat that. You can run away a lot for a little while, but you can't run away from it all forever. I'll repeat that. You can't run away from it all forever. And lastly, you most certainly can't run away from yourself. And really what that lyric speaks to is at some point, you're going to have to face the music. At some point, you're going to have to say, okay, if I want to change, if I'm going to make some things happen, I'm going to have to make some things happen. And that, again, was probably a blessing for me, although I fought it, tooth and nail. My dad, I'm the oldest of 6 kids. And, from the time I was able to walk, I was able to work, and you run them a wrench, you run them a drink, whatever you have to do. Probably explains why my brother didn't walk till he was 12. That's another seminar. But really that background, as I mentioned earlier, taught me that great work ethic. But what it didn't do was didn't teach me how to think, how to compromise, how to put together, is what I'm doing, is what I'm working at, is it actually working? Okay, there's nothing wrong with working hard, head down, butt up, get it done, and whatever. But at some point, you have to look back and say, okay, what am I accomplishing here? And that really was the reality and the awareness that we created. And that's what you're going to have to create. If you're listening to this, you say, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, whatever. I say, well, let's, one of the things that happens now, you type into your phone, your GPS or Google Maps or whatever, and because of locations, it already knows where you are. Okay. So you don't have to put in, where you are. But in the original GPS, you had to first put in your location, then where you wanted to go, and then they were able to track your route. And so you almost have to go back to some old technology here and realize, okay, I need to identify where I'm at. I need to choose and understand and be real and be transparent. Okay, what is my real reality? And then not get mad at yourself, but realize that, okay, when I chose farming and construction, I actually enjoyed it. I didn't mind doing it. The problem is that when you choose what you do, you have to understand it comes as a package. It's a whole package. That package is that what you choose to do comes with a certain amount of income. You get paid for what that job's worth, or what that business is worth, or what that service is worth. You're not paid for what you're worth. And so that income then subsequently determines your lifestyle, your ability to travel, the type of home you live in, all these things, what your kids can do, right? And so I started realizing that what I was doing, and that's why, we need to teach our kids, and the educational system isn't going to do it, so stop waiting for them. You need to teach your kids, not ask them what they're going to do when they grow up, ask them how they want to live. What do they want as a lifestyle? Where do they want to, what kind of a home do they want? And then help them understand that you have to choose a vehicle that will get that. Because if you choose to be this, but want this, it can't happen because that package isn't part of your package. And everybody's familiar with packages, whether it's cell phone packages or, there's packages of anything, travel packages, you choose what you want. You go on a cruise, here's a package, right? And so you have to understand the job comes with a package. And so what I had to do in my growth mindset is I had to change and understand, okay, I needed to have other sources of income, right? And I needed to work hard, but in a smart way. Okay, I had to work hard at actually something that would work, that would have a ROI, a return on investment. And those are two tied together. And then number two, what the farming and construction taught me was an understanding of to finish. And it can be a difficult thing, for people. They like starting things, but they don't like finishing. And it's finishing that really determines. I wrote in my notes here, the world is impressed by people that start things, but the world is transformed by people that finish things, okay? And so what we need is a new generation of finishers, people that actually, their word is their word is their worth, and they finish what they started. And that finishing is a transformation of you to a degree that I can't even explain. Having a determination, no matter what, to finish, right? You see these videos and you're crying because they're on whatever, this people, they're at the end of the race and they fall and somebody helps them, and they broke their leg and somebody helped. I mean, all these things, these videos of just dog determined, to be and to finish what you started. And so I just challenge you to be a finisher. And so I'm going to share actually 6 foundational principles that I've learned over the years. And those foundational principles I'm going to use as an example of a foundation, because in a construction build, the key component is the foundation. Okay, things don't end wrong, they start wrong. You have to get the foundation right. In farming, if you're planting a crop, the key element to the success of that crop is the preparation of the soil. It's the foundation of that seed bed, how that seed, can it germinate, can it grow, does it have the proper nutrition? All those things are all part of the foundation. And so please, this allows me to share some perspectives, allows me to maybe share some commonalities, and just humor me. And if that's not your background, that's okay. When you mentor and coach and help people, you can choose your way of explaining things. But for tonight and for this talk, just allow me to share from an area that I'm comfortable with. Okay, so the foundation number one is relationships. Okay, I wrote in the slide here that the ground we build on. See, when we get to a site, what the first thing that we determine when we dig for the foundation is what type of soil do we have? What is there to work with? Is it soil that will support the footings? Is it good? And so sometimes it's not. Sometimes there has to be engineering done where we take out that bad soil and we put new stuff in and then properly unpack it so that it can hold the footing. Well, relationships, are that similar foundation. It's the ground. See, associations, it's funny, if you've had kids, you understand this totally, how we're so protective of who they hang around with. We understand as adults, going through it ourselves, that the associations that we have can determine many outcomes in our life. And so association is not only for kids, it's for adults too. I was told once that your income will be an average of the 5 people you hang around the most. When I first heard that, it challenged me. I had to, like in sports, I had to do some trading. I had to trade a couple out and bring some new people in. Well, I wanted to increase my income, and it was bang on. My income, why? Because you become a pool of the same thoughts, the same ideas, you're in the same income circle, and no one challenges anybody because you don't have the right to challenge. You're all at the same place. And so, these associations are critical. And so what I've learned to do, and what I think is some of the greatest things in personality, in relational building, is first of all, you got to understand how you tick and the people around you tick. And so I'm a firm believer in personality testing. Why? Because when we first did it, my wife and I, 30 years ago, because, you marry the person because they're different, right? My wife is 100% different personality-wise than me, right? You marry her because of that. And then you spend the rest of your marriage trying to change her back to be like you. It's ridiculous. Okay, and vice versa. I'm sure she married me because I was the exact opposite, and she spent 38 years now trying to make me like her. And so what saved our relationship was understanding how we were wired. And so we took personality tests, and there's great ones. There's an Enneagram. It's free. It gives you a pretty basic concept of your personality. You spend the $20 version, it's really in depth and it gets dialed in and maybe really revealing about yourself. Then, there's books also, systems like Robert Rome has a DISC program, similar, you take the test and then the book that explains, your person. And it's not to be a labeling thing. It's not to wear the badge of honor. This is who I am. It's for understanding. And that was key in our success. And we had our kids read it, and we had our kids take the test. Why? Because it helped them understand who we were and us understand who they were. And I think anybody in relationships, I know workplaces, they have people do personality tests. Why? Well, because it reveals and helps them understand, are they a good fit? Remember I talked about the Jim Collins book earlier, and I talked about getting the right people on the bus. We want the right people around you, and then when you have them around you, you want to understand how they work and how they tick, so that you don't get offended, so you don't do the wrong. You just want to have yourself on the best platform possible. And so tools like that are essential for your partners, your life partners, your kids, your employees, whatever. Then, we want to get dialed into, the life partners. And, a big book for me was a book called 5 Love Languages. And why was that so important? Well, because, we all have a love language, what makes us appreciate the other person. And we may think, I thought, okay, I love doing stuff, so I'll clean the house, I'll clean the garage, or whatever. Jen didn't want me to clean the garage or clean the house. She wanted me to sit down on the couch and talk to her for 2 hours. You know, that she didn't care about that other stuff. And so if we don't understand what the love language is, then we're going about it and we're not fulfilling, you know, that intimacy or that understanding that we really truly care for the other person. And so, you know, I remember the book, His Needs, Her Needs. I wanted to rewrite it, but they wouldn't let me. But, you know, these are relational skills. And I just think, I don't know how. Well, I know people don't, because marriages fail all the time. It's why, because they're not given a platform to have perspective on each other and how each other thinks. And unless they really get some of that teaching somewhere, you know, in a mentorship component of some way, you know, it's sad. And so I just have a real big proponent of that, because if you can make relationships a skill set, you can make a lot of things happen. Another thing I want to talk about, and this is really important in the times you are, is your social capital. Okay, it's a term that has popped up a lot now, and I don't know if I totally understood it as that term, but what it was and what they define social capital is it's the resources that individuals access and generate through their business and personal networks. Okay, right now, most of you listening to this have been on a social media site since you were 12 or earlier. And so you've gathered a network of friends and associates, and some of them are in business and some of them are friends, and, you know, heck, some of them you don't even know, who knows. But that network and the resource thereof is the future, and can be a future powerhouse for you, because those resources consist of information, they consist of ideas and influence, giving, right? Business opportunities, financial capital, trust, cooperation. And I think it's vital in this new world that we really take a perspective and an honest viewpoint of how to build our social capital. Okay, we've all heard this. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you can properly network yourself and join in business associations and go to places and fundraise, all these things where you can build your social capital, that's where, you know, a term that I like that John Maxwell introduced called who luck, right? Who luck is where you got lucky to get introduced to somebody, okay? That's what we call who luck, right? And who luck is real. Right? And introduction, I know there's introductions in my life, introductions in our other businesses that have happened that have drastically changed, you know, how our businesses grew and what happened. And it was who luck, okay? And another thing, just, you know, be mindful of your social media. You know, you're building a brand. Your brand is who you are, and you know, you want to be careful of your image and what you post on social media and the content and the things that you share. And, you know, these are things, I mean, I can't get into all this stuff in a few minute talk here, but, you know, you're building your brand. And in this world, this digital social media world, you know, that brand is your business card. It's what people say about you when you're not there. Right? And that's what you're building. Take it seriously and work on that network. Okay, foundation number two. Foundation number two I called emotions. And it's the forms that hold the footings, okay? You have to form it before you pour the concrete. And so the forms, right, are critical, because if the forms blow out, right, then the concrete goes all over. You don't have a footing. You have a mess. Okay. And so I've seen people, and I've been there. Hey, as I share, these are called experience, right? They're experiences. The wisdom that you want to have is to learn from other people's experiences. You know, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to learn from them. But it's way better to learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to make them yourself. And so, you know, these forms are really emotions, how you handle things. You know, you don't want to be a roller coaster in your emotions. You're up one day and the next day you're so low you can slide under the door. Just it's painful. It takes way too much energy. Develop an even keel, your emotions. Everything's going to be okay. We can solve problems. That's what we're going to learn to do. Right? We've learned to solve problems. And I can't teach it all tonight in this, but that's what you have to do, is become a problem solver. You get paid in life in direct proportion to the problems you solve. That's a fact. You solve a need for somebody to have a coffee, you get paid this much as a server at Tim Hortons. If you can perform a problem, if someone's got a tumor in their brain, right, and you're a brain surgeon, how many know you get paid at a different level? the level in which you can solve problems is the level in life in which you get paid. Self-talk. You know, we all know this. The person in the mirror is the toughest person on us, right? If you can conquer the person in the mirror, if you can start talking great things about yourself, even before they happen, talk about greatness that you can have and you can strive for, and you can start talking the talk of a winner. We've heard this all, you know, you hear about, you know, Olympic champions and visualizing. Andrea Rescue just was the new tennis phenom here out of Montreal, with the Canadian girl. You know, she talked about visualizing beating Venus Williams, you know, 10 years ago, okay? Visualizing, self-talking, believing, right? You know, one of the things that, you know, I'm a big proponent of and have failed at, okay, is don't take offense. You know, people say things or do things to you, and, you know, and a lot of times they don't even know they did something wrong. And we take offense, and we're the one harboring it. They're going along with their life, and we're taking offense and getting hurt by it, and it doesn't help you. Don't take offense. Be grateful, forgive, right? Nobody's perfect. Only one person that walked this earth that was perfect, and, you know, look what happened to him, right? And so you can't have perfection. Forgive, okay? I wrote down here, believe the great thing can happen. And also believe that there's going to be a stair step of how you actually learn stuff, right? It's not going to happen right away, right? You got to take action. Take action on your learning, take action on whatever it is that you want to do, and then you're going to have a struggle, right? Nobody goes from action to victory. You know, nobody wants to hear about that. I mean, I've read hundreds, probably 1,000 biographies of successful people. Nobody went from taking action to success. They had struggles, but they persevered. They developed character. They created hope. And then they gained confidence, and then that confidence allowed them to win, right? Emotions are controllable, right? Learn to control them. Stop making excuses, right? Stop making excuses. Stop blaming other people. And start owning the decisions you've made in the past and say, okay, I made some bad decisions. Who cares, right? I'm going to change that. I'm going to start making right decisions. I'm going to find somebody that can teach me how to make right decisions. I'm going to find somebody that can actually lead the path to say, okay, what do I need to do here? They're not going to control you. They're just going to offer perspective for you to have a train of thought that allows you to think through things at a different level. And again, just take responsibility. And own this stuff, own your emotions. Foundation number 3. Foundation number 3 is financial intelligence. And I wrote here on the slide, it's the strength of the concrete, right? If you don't have enough concrete in the mix, if it's all sand and gravel and water, your concrete isn't gonna stand, it isn't gonna hold anything. And so finances is a part of life, right? How many know we don't want to talk, you know, all we talk about is money? Well, how many know all we need is money? Money is a determining factor in our life. We need it for stuff. I used to say all the time, it's not that I needed money, right? I don't need any money. Just that when I go to these stores and I get food, I get clothing, I get things that I need, if I leave without paying, they chase me. I don't know where you live. If it's different, you're fine, okay? And that just brings up a whole thoughts of things that have happened lately I don't even want to get into, okay? But, you know, the basic foundation for me in turning my mindset around about finances and understanding more was a simple quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki called the cash flow quadrant. And he wrote this on a page. It was actually one of those flip charts on a stage when I seen it for the first time. He hadn't even written the book yet. And he drew the, you know, E and the B, or excuse me, E and the S, the B and the I, and he, you know, as you see on the screen. And he started talking about, you know, understanding how money works. Understanding 95% of people are over here and they divvy up 10% of the wealth, 5% are over here, they divvy up 90% of the wealth. And, you know, it just resonated with. I said, why didn't I get taught this stuff when I was in school instead of watching, you know, movies and reading Lord of the Flies? I mean, what's up with that? You know, and so I started to realize that it wasn't anything I'd done wrong. I just didn't get informed. I just didn't get the proper information. So I went on a search of getting. My parents were great. Right? I'm Scottish in nature, and you know how a penny, or you know how copper wire was invented. It's when two Scotsmen were fighting over a penny. Okay, and they stretched it. Oh, we got copper wire. Okay, so I understand about frugalness. I understand about being cheap. I understand about all of that. I understand that if saving money was the key to success, my mom and dad would be billionaires because they were so thrifty, so frugal. They coupon, everything was to the minimum bottom. But it's not about saving money, it's about making money. And I had to get a financial intelligence. I had to start understanding about budget and having a place for every dollar that I earned and properly placing it. We teach in some of our people that we mentor to, it's a system called BDIL. It's Business, Debt, Investment, Lifestyle. And in BIDL, we call it, therein lies, especially when you talk to people and you watch people, 95% of the people, when they get a dollar, they don't think of business first, they think of lifestyle first. So their whole perspective is lifestyle, investment, right? They're all about, let's give money. That's a whole nother subject. Let's put money in our RSPs, whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but great responsibility on you. Okay, you don't even understand what they're doing with the money. All you do is complain when you get your statement because nothing's growing, right? That's your retirement. How am I going to retire on this? Because nothing's happening. Yet you've not taken any responsibility except to give somebody the permission to take it out of your account. Okay, you got to own that. Okay, you have to learn that, you invest when it's a proper time to invest, right? It's business, debt, investment, lifestyle. And the 5%, first, when they get a dollar, a large proportion of that dollar goes to business. The next portion goes to debt. The next portion goes to investment, and their lifestyle comes last. Okay, in these last 3 or 4 months, people have focused only on lifestyle. They're buying trailers, they're buying boats, they're buying four-wheelers. Right, I got nothing else to do. I can, whatever. That's the wrong thinking. They should be thinking about, how do I start a business? How do I generate multiple streams of income? How do I, pay off my debt? How do I, and so you've got to learn that. Okay, you have to learn about active income and passive income. That if your income is all earned by activeness, where you have to be present to earn it, it's vulnerability, right? When I first learned about this stuff, I was at Sick Kids Hospital, right? I was paid time for money. I was self-employed in construction, so I wasn't working and wasn't getting paid. Okay, so I saw firsthand the vulnerability of that, and it scared me. And so I said, for the rest, I want to find things that passively pay me. My mentor shared with me some simple basics 30 years ago. Simple basics. Number one, live below your means. Live below your means, right? What's that mean? Well, if you can get this mortgage, you don't have to get that mortgage. You can live below your means, so you have a little breathing room. You're not right up against it, so you have some money if something happened and you wanted to have a business and whatever, okay? Get out of debt. He taught me about an amortization chart. Right? He taught me how to front load a mortgage till the 10th year, because after the 10th year, the interest dies off and it's all principal. Well, once it gets to that point, no use doubling up your mortgage because the bank, you're not paying the interest, your money's free. And so he taught me stuff like that. He said, invest in what you know. Don't get into things and invest in things that you have no idea about. People say, well, why don't you get into cryptocurrency? Hey, I have no clue about cryptocurrency. You're not going to catch me in cryptocurrency because I don't know anything about it. And I don't even know if people that are in it know anything about it or what it's all about. It's all hype. He taught me multiple streams of income. He talked about, building assets and about how to, if you're building assets to get free and to leave your job, you don't leave it until your assets pay twice of what you were earning at your job. So you have a buffer. He taught me about life purchases and major purchases and buying versus leasing and owning versus renting and, truly understand. He taught me how to truly understand the difference between assets and liabilities. And it's simple. Assets pay you, liabilities cost you. Okay. And so as you look through the things in your life, what's making you money, what's costing you money. Anytime your home, people think their home's an asset. It's not. It's costing them money. Foundation number 4 is find a mentor, right? Find a mentor. There's people out there like me that would love to share the wisdom and perspective of how to be successful. I'm not saying we know everything or done everything, but we've had an incredible lifestyle for the last 30 years. It actually took me 2.5 years to build the asset to a point. We call it a cash flow millionaire asset, where it produces a 6-figure income ongoing for the rest of my life, willable to my kids. And so that knowledge has allowed me to gain other knowledges and other businesses and other perspectives over the last 30 years that I'd love sharing. and the principles I'm sharing here tonight. And there's other people like me that would love to do the same thing. Why not have a set of blueprints, right? That'll actually teach you how to be successful. Follow the plans. That's what it says on the screen. Find a mentor. Follow the plan. You know what the first thing that happens when we have the foundation crew get to a site? What's the first thing they ask me? Where's the plans? Right? Where's the plans? Right? We're not doing anything. We're not doing anything on this site until we see the plans. Why? Because the plans are a stamped document by the inspectors, by the engineers. This is what you follow. If you do this, it's built right. Right? And so they're not going to mess around. They're not going to say, looks pretty good. Let's just do this over here and this over here. No, they're going to follow the plans. That's what a mentor's for. Right? They're there to lay out a set of plans. Now, you have a choice. You don't have to follow them, but they have no vested interest to lead you wrong. They're going to, you know how much success you can have, right? Or how much greatness it feels to help other people. As I said when I started, it feels good to help. Remember who luck. And you may, through a series of events here, get introduced to somebody that actually could drastically change the direction, the fork in the road in your life that, really you probably can't even understand. I always said, I want to use all of my brain and all of the brains of people that I can borrow, right? My mentors, the books I've read. Find a mentor that can help you build an asset, okay? Foundation number 5. Foundation number 5 is, it's a tricky subject, but I think it's an important subject. And I've been all around. I'm not going to stand up here as some fitness guru, okay? But I'm going to stand up here that's somebody that has learned sometimes the hard way. And so I want you to have a personal awareness. 5 things I've learned about wellness, okay? And it's just having a personal awareness. Number 1, just drink enough water. I see people, we have other businesses. I see people, they go all day, they don't even have a drink of water. And they wonder why some of their they have health challenges and health issues, and they're hungry. It's just a whole whack of things. People, well, how much water should I drink? Pretty easy calculation. It's half your body weight in ounces. Okay, so if you weigh 200 pounds, you should drink 100 ounces of water a day. You figure it out. Probably about, for me, 12 glasses of water, 13 glasses of water a day, and I do it. Why? Well, because it makes me healthy. Figure it out. Right? And so, who cares, right? Health or going to the bathroom a few extra times. I'll take health, right? Exercise. I've been all over the map. I'm not standing here and saying I'm, Mr. Fitness guru, but, over the last year or so, 2 years, I've been in this fitness level before, but, at age 60, I feel pretty good about where I'm at. And what is it? It's getting my heart rate up 5 times a week, over 120 beats per minute. Right? Why? Because your heart rate has to accelerate in order for it to work. It's called a muscle, right? And for your heart to strengthen and to be strengthened and to do what it needs to do, every waking second of your life, it has to be strengthened. And that's why you exercise. Get enough sleep, right? Get enough sleep. A lot of people don't get enough sleep. And, you got to get in. And I know people need 3-4 hours. I don't know how they do it. I need more than that. You know what your body needs. Get it. Right? And so that's such a key element, proper nutrition. I could do a seminar on this. I'm obviously, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of fad diets, whatever. What the simple thing is? Here's a secret. It's about fat loss, not weight loss. And the only way you can have fat loss in your body is proper nutrition. When you lose weight, you lose fat and muscle. Muscle is what you need. Muscle is what burns the fat. Muscle is key. And in that proper nutrition, most people don't eat enough protein. I'll just be straight out flat with you. You need to supplement your protein. You need to find an all-plant protein and supplement that. And you need to find a cell-absorbing multivitamin. There's lots of vitamins, and people, I got a Costco, I get great price. Don't go to some place where you get great. That's the last thing I want to hear. Great pricing on vitamins. Great pricing on protein. It's what it does. You could be taking a cheap thing, but just going right out the toilet, right? Find something that has a cellular level absorption and focus on proper nutrition. Last, you got to pray. You got to meditate. Whatever it is that you do, you got to take time to rejuvenate. Mental health is a big awareness these days, and you have to be very aware of it. And foundation number 6, as I get ready to wrap up here, is leave a legacy. Right? You want to leave a legacy. You want to be known, when you leave this earth, you want to be known as someone that contributed. You want to know someone that, hey, I made a difference in other people's lives. You want to be known as somebody that, hey, your kids and your grandkids respect because, you did what you said you were going to do and you finished strong. Finish strong, right? Take responsibility. And have the wherewithal to understand, okay, if I'm going to probably live, and you'll live, most people are living a fairly long life. Some of them in great health, some of them not so great health, but you're going to live long. You're going to need money. You're going to need multiple. Don't rely on a government. Don't rely on a corporation or a pension to take care of you. You don't know what's going to happen. You know how many businesses are going out of business that people were counting on their pension from that company, right? Take a personal responsibility to leave a legacy. Find a way, find a mentor, build some assets, build multiple streams of income. And, I hope you enjoyed and allowed me to just come into your life here for a few minutes and share some thoughts. And I go on, but people's what their listening level is, what the level of their seat, how long they can sit and listen. So I respect you maybe for taking a few minutes and honoring me with a bit of my time. Time is precious. Maybe you took a couple of notes. Maybe you had some thoughts, whatever. And so I'm not sure how you got access to this recording tonight, but maybe ask the person that give you access to it. Hey, I like some of those thoughts. I like some of the things that guy was saying. How do I learn more about it? Okay. Love you guys. We appreciate you. And we'll close off for tonight.